He is sitting in a parked Honda outside a Walgreens in suburban Columbus, holding a pharmacy bag with his 11-year-old daughter's amoxicillin inside it when the number finally flips over. Daniel is 41. He refreshes the brokerage app one more time because the market closed 7 minutes ago and the totals are finally settled. $1.4 million. He stares at the screen. He waits for something to happen inside his chest. Nothing happens. A woman pushes a cart past his windshield. His phone buzzes with a calendar reminder for a 3:30 meeting. He puts the car in drive, and somewhere between the pharmacy and his driveway, he begins to understand that something is wrong. For 18 years, he has been quietly building toward this exact figure. Roth 1RA maxed every January. 401k at 15% since he was 26. A taxable brokerage account he funded with every raise above 3%. He drove the same 2014 Camry until last year. He packed lunch 4 days a week. He turned down a bachelor party in Nashville in 2019 because the flights were $600. And now the number is here, in his hand, and the feeling he expected, the soft internal click of arrival, isn't coming. This is the part of the millionaire story almost nobody tells. Not the part where you get there. The part where you get there and discover that the person who built the pile cannot use the pile. Because the discipline that made the number possible is the same discipline that makes the number meaningless once it exists. And by the time most people understand this, they have been running the wrong operating system for so long that switching it off feels like a kind of death. Daniel didn't do anything wrong on the spreadsheet. That's what makes it disorienting. His allocation is reasonable. His expense ratio is low. If he stopped contributing tomorrow and lived on a modest 4% withdrawal, the math would carry him comfortably for decades. On paper, he is exactly where the early advice told him he should be. The math is clean. The man is not. Because here is what 18 years of optimization actually built. It built a nervous system that treats every unspent dollar as a small private victory, and every spent dollar as a small private failure. It built a marriage where the phrase "we can afford it" has been spoken maybe 40 times total, always cautiously, always followed by a recalculation. It built a relationship with his 2 kids where the answer to most requests is not right now, buddy, maybe later. It built a man who, when his wife suggested a week in Portugal for their anniversary, opened a spreadsheet to model the opportunity cost of the airfare against an additional taxable contribution. He didn't notice it happening. That's the thing about the accumulation personality. It doesn't announce itself. It just slowly replaces the parts of you that used to know how to want things. The week after the account ticks over, Daniel does something out of character. He takes a Friday off. Not for anything. He drives to a state park 40 minutes outside the city and sits at a picnic table with a coffee. He is trying to feel rich. He is trying to feel free. What he feels instead is a low, persistent unease, like he is forgetting an appointment. After 90 minutes, he gets back in the car and goes home and does laundry. He tells himself he will try again next month. He does not try again next month. This is the quiet failure that the wealth-building world rarely names because it does not sell anything. The failure is not financial. It is that money is a tool that requires a user, and the user has been training for 2 decades to never use the tool. Daniel has hands made for gripping, and now someone is asking him to open them. The deeper trap is that the number keeps rewarding the old behavior. Every month he keeps saving. The account grows faster than it ever did before, because compounding at $1.4 million is a different animal than compounding at $40,000. Last year, the portfolio added almost $90,000 to itself through gains and dividends, nearly a full year of his take-home pay, earned while he slept. The machine he built is now bigger than him, and the machine is teaching him, every single month, that the right move is to feed it more. So, he does. He raises his contribution rate again. He starts a backdoor Roth. He moves the emergency fund into a higher yield account for an extra $110 a year. His wife notices before he does. One night in May, she asks him, carefully, when the last time was that he bought something just because he wanted it. Not needed. Wanted. He thinks about it for a long time. He cannot remember. He says, "The Camry, maybe." She says, "Daniel, you bought the Camry because it had good resale value." He does not have a response to that. The kitchen is very quiet. The dishwasher hums. He realizes, standing there, that he has forgotten the shape of his own preferences. Here is the part of the story that costs the most to admit. The opposite of broke is not rich. The opposite of broke is free. And freedom is a skill, not a balance. It is a thing you practice, in small increments, over years, the same way saving is. People who never practice freedom while they are building the pile do not magically acquire the skill the day the pile crosses a threshold. They acquire instead a larger version of the same fear they had at $30,000, only now it is dressed in better clothes. This is what doing it wrong actually means. Not that the saving was wrong. The saving was rare and disciplined, and almost everyone who criticizes it is criticizing it from a worse position. The wrongness is that Daniel built the asset and forgot to build the operator. He spent 18 years getting better at deferral and 0 years getting better at permission, and now the asset is mature and the operator is a stranger to himself. The correction, when it finally comes, is small. It almost always is. In late August, his daughter, the same one whose pharmacy bag sat in his lap on the afternoon the number flipped, asks him if they can go to a Reds game. Just the two of them. He looks up the tickets. Decent seats behind home plate are $240 for the pair. His first thought is the index fund equivalent of $240 compounded over 25 years. His second thought, the one that surprises him, is that his daughter is 11, and there is no version of compounding that returns an 11-year-old to him later. He buys the tickets. They sit behind home plate. The Reds lose. On the drive home, she falls asleep against the window, with her mouth slightly open, and he glances over at her at a red light and feels something he has not felt in a very long time. He has just converted a specific amount of money, cleanly and without loss, into a specific piece of life. This is the realization the milestone was always pointing at, and it is not the dramatic one. It is not throw away the spreadsheet, or quit the job, or spend it all. It is quieter than that. The entire point of the number was to buy back the ability to say yes to small, specific, irreplaceable things, and that ability has to be practiced while you are still building, not after, because the muscle does not grow on its own. Most people who hit $1 million never realize they have been doing it wrong. They just feel a vague flatness and assume the next milestone will fix it. 2 million. 3. A paid-off house. A second property. They keep raising the threshold because the threshold is not the problem. The operator is. And the operator can only be retrained one small permission at a time, in real life, with real money, on a Tuesday afternoon that does not look special from the outside. Daniel still maxes the 401k. He still drives the Camry. The spreadsheet is still open on his second monitor, but somewhere in the last few months, almost without noticing, he has started to do something he never used to do. When his wife suggests something, dinner out, a weekend somewhere, tickets to something, he has stopped opening the calculator first.